In today's video, we're going to concentrate on the unprecedented blow to the heart of the America's auto industry that has been absorbed by the Detroit Big Three, Ford, GM, and Stelantis Gathering Lines while dealing with the dire situation and looming threat to electric vehicles. We explore the circumstances that led to the historic strike and the challenges facing the UAW auto industry. The United Auto Workers UAW Strike, which swept Detroit's three largest automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stelantis, sent shockwaves through the heart of America's industrial scene with this massive shutdown. Unnoticed by the former, it was a poignant reminder of the challenges blue-collar workers face in an industry that once epitomized the American dream. In the mid-20th century, the automotive industry stood as a gold standard, and automobile factories became cornerstones of the American middle class, offering unprecedented opportunities, wages, and benefits to hardworking workers. GM, Ford, and Chrysler dominated the market without competition, allowing them to offer generous pensions, bonuses, and health benefits. But the industry's prosperity began to unfold in the 1970s, a decade of oil shocks that sent gas prices soaring. American automakers, accustomed to building large cars, were unprepared for the surge in demand for fuel-efficient vehicles, driving consumers to foreign automakers like Toyota and Honda. The automotive industry faced a major shock in 2008 in the form of a financial crisis and bankruptcy. GM and Chrysler were given government subsidies to keep them in business, prompting these companies to turn to a UAW for help. To save the industry, the company had to provide retirees with a host of benefits, including health benefits, pensions, and bonuses. Over the next 15 years, automakers' fortunes began to improve and profits rose. However, the gap between the sacrifices made by employees and the reasonable income generated by these companies made employees less satisfied. And as a result, automotive workers' wages in the United States have steadily declined since 2007, when they were adjusted for inflation. In contrast, Germany offers a different business model where employees have a greater influence in decision-making. Employee representation on the boards of Germany's largest companies ensure that they pursue common goals together in difficult times. The model has proven successful for German automakers such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen. Among the advantage of this German model is the alignment of management and shareholders' interest. But the U.S., a system that was notable for its agility in adapting to new competitors and objectives, is of great historical importance. Nevertheless, the transition to electric vehicles present new challenges. Electric vehicles, EVs, are easier to manufacture with fewer moving parts, so they require 40% less labor. Consequently, switching to EVs could result in decreased efficiency. As car manufacturers and companies cooperate to retain existing workers for new conditions, demographics could also affect the workforce, as the average age of auto workers in Germany is slightly higher, and it can reduce the need for vehicle replacement. Nonetheless, the UAW strongly opposes the possibility of factory closure through vandalism. The emergence of electric vehicle presents both an opportunity and a challenge, as competition in the China-led EV market is fierce. U.S. automakers worry that merged plants will put them at a disadvantage compared to non-unionized battery plants like those operated in Nevada by Tesla and Panasonic. As America gears up for an election year, a fate of blue-collar workers and the industrial middle class hangs in the balance. President Biden's goal of half of all cars sold in the United States being electric by 2030 adds urgency. Balancing businesses' interest with environmental objectives is a tough challenge for the administration, especially in important swing states where automobile plants have significant influence. The future of an American automotive industry represents a major change. The UAW grapples with the prospect of declining membership and influence as automakers face survival questions in the looming transition to electric vehicles. This examines the complex dynamics of the game and workers and the pressing problems of the auto industry as it goes through a period of change in American manufacturing. A historic event is taking place in the ever-changing landscape of the American auto industry. The United Auto Workers UAW, a union with nearly 90 years of heritage, is striking simultaneously against all three major Detroit automakers: General Motors, Ford Motors, Chrysler's parent company, and Stelantis, as UAW members are demanding a massive 40% wage increase. The strike, which began on September 15th with subsequent expansion, has already affected many car plants and distribution centers, raising questions about its impact on the industry and the broader economy. Let's examine the insight provided by Bought-It. For the first time in its history, the United Auto Workers UAW is striking simultaneously against two major Detroit automakers, General Motors and Ford Motor Company. It began on September 15, 2023, and has been going on ever since and has expanded. The unprecedented program carries significant ramifications for the automotive industry, labor, and the American economy. So far, the strike has led to the closure of several auto plants in Michigan, Ohio, and Missouri, as well as 38 distribution centers operated by General Motors and Stelantis, owned by about 18,300 UAW members who have been involved in strikes and have mobilized in the wake of massive strike demands for a 40% wage increase. While the direct impact of the strike is limited to a limited number of vehicles, the long-term freeze could have far-reaching consequences for consumers and U.S. consumers economically. Neil E. McCarthy, a well-known Detroit-based journalist who covers the auto industry for the New York Times, bought it, has been actively reporting on negotiations between the UAW and automakers since 2002. While stationed in Germany as a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Baudet had been bringing his vast expertise to the Times since 2016. In a candid interview, Mr. Baudet offers his thoughts on the changing landscape of the automotive industry. It symbolizes an America culture and how the strike is unique. The interview was presented largely in the form of repairs to shed light on the progress there. One of the most notable aspects of the strike was that it garnered widespread attention. President Biden's recent visit to the Michigan picket line has been described as an unprecedented gesture for a sitting president. Asked how this strike compares to previous UAW strikes, including the one of General Motors in 2019, Mr. Baudet emphasized how different the current situation is. While some strikes over the last 2 decades have had symbolic undertones, this year's strike unfolds in a very different context. Given that automakers' high profit margins and the likelihood of higher worker wages and prices, the UAW maintains a strong bargaining position. Unlike previous strikes, the UAW enjoys broad public support. In the past, controversial attacks sometimes ended in street clashes, but the 21st century has not seen such attacks. Mr. Baudet highlights the dramatic shift in complexity. Comparing his revel in Germany to his modern function in Detroit, Mr. Baudet elucidates the particular culture and historical context of the Motor City. Detroit, often known as Motor City, has a profound reference to the auto enterprise that spans a century. The region is steeped in car records, and the effects of automobiles extends into the very fabric of Detroit's lifestyle. Even the brand of the Detroit Red Wings, a prominent hockey team, functions as a winged wheel. In evaluation, Mr. Baudet's preceding task in Germany, mainly Frankfurt, did no longer percentage the equal awareness of the car way of life. German automotive facilities like Opel, Mercedes, BMW, and Volkswagen were dispersed throughout different areas without the same degree of centralization that Detroit enjoys. As the automotive industry undergoes a significant shift towards electric vehicles, Baudet emphasizes the multifaceted nature of his music. The transition to electric vehicles includes not only the design, development, and manufacture of these vehicles, but also lifestyle factors. The expansion of the charging infrastructure and the shift in consumer behavior from traditional gas stations to EV charging stations are driving significant changes in society. Moreover, the transition to EV addresses urgent environmental concerns. The change is said to be the most important change in the automotive industry since Henry Ford introduced the mobile assembly line. In the face of the profound change, Mr. Baudet notes the breadth and complexity of his plan. While the strike will eventually lead to a deal between the UAW and the automakers, an important question arises. How will the terms of this agreement affect the competitiveness of these companies against their foreign counterparts, such as Toyota, Volkswagen, Honda, and Kia? These foreign manufacturers are non-unionized factories, and they often pay their workers far below the top wages earned by UAW members. In recent years, the UAW attempted to unionize foreign-owned plants in the South, such as Volkswagen plant in Tennessee and the Nissan plant in Mississippi. But workers in these areas chose to maintain a status quo and voted against union representatives. This struggle represents an important consideration for the future of the profession. In a surprising revelation, despite years of talking about the automotive industry, Baudet admits that he is not an ardent car enthusiast. Instead, he emphasizes the car's extraordinary appeal as a powerful medium for propaganda, especially in American culture. Cars occupy a unique place in American culture, reflected in countless references in pop music and movies, such as The Beach Boys, 409, and the iconic Knight Rider TV show. What are your thoughts of this? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.